This is my most reliable trading setup. It happens almost every single day on all the major stock indexes at 9:38 a.m. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the exact checklist I use to find and execute on these opportunities, and afterwards we'll walk through a couple of examples from the last week. If a strategy that you can set an alarm for sounds great, hit the like button and let's go. I call this setup the 9:38 a.m. setup for obvious reasons. It happens almost every single day at 9:38. It uses no indicators, it's very simple, and most trades are in and out in less than 10 minutes. This is going to work great on anything that responds strongly to a market open. It means the NASDAQ, S&P 500, any major stocks, anything that has a lot of activity right around 9:30, that's what we want to look for. This isn't going to work as well for Forex just because their opens aren't quite as sharp as the indexes. All right, so here's our checklist. At 9:30, you're gonna mark the opening price. Then we're gonna wait until at least 9:38. Now that it's at least 9:38, we're looking for some weakening in this strong directional move. We want some evidence that this is likely to drop back to the opening price. For the purposes of our strategy, if this is gonna happen, it's probably gonna happen before about 9:45 to 9:50. If you're sitting at the chart waiting for this and it's 9:45, 9:50, log out, go home, try again the next day. This isn't going to happen every single day, even though it is very reliable. Our take profit is going to be the opening price, and we're going to set a risk to reward ratio of about 2 to 1. You could do 1.5 to 1 as well, depending on the scenario. This is very much a scalping strategy. We're going to be in, we're going to be out quickly. We're taking small, reliable wins. This is not a strategy where you're going to see a 10 to 1 risk to reward, a 5 to 1 risk to reward. This is not what it is. So now I'm going to take you through a couple of trades from the last week or two, and we'll see how each one of these plays out. All right, so let's run through some examples now. We're looking at the NASDAQ 100 on the 1 minute time frame in the futures market. Okay, so 9:30, this is our open. We're going to set a line. This is a hair above the opening, but that's okay. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to wait. We're going to wait until we hit 9:38. All right, so we'll pause here. So it's 9:38, and you can see we've had a directional move. It's not super strong, but let's take a look if we wanted to place an order, if there's really enough meat on these bones for us to make our profit. So we're gonna want to put our stop loss just above the high we've seen so far, and our take profit is going to be at our open right around here. Okay, yeah, I think this could work. So ideally we're going to see a risk to reward of 2, but generally I'm willing to accept a 1.5 as well. And you can see here, I'm not trying to enter right here. I would be setting a stop loss basically right here. So if this momentum continues, we think it'll go down and hit our opening price. Okay, so let's see. Here we go. We've hit our open right here, solidly took profit. Awesome. This was a great example. This is actually, I would say we were in for a little bit longer than normal this time. A lot of the times these trades are exiting in 10, 15 minutes. But it looks like we would have been in from 9:42 and we were out at 10:22. So about a 45-minute trade overall for a nice 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. So that's great. All right, so now it's 9:30 on Wednesday. Slow this down a little bit. Let's mark out what our opening price was right about there. All right, so at 9:38, we're here. Seeing some clear directional movement up. This is why we wait just a minute. Okay, so here it's 9:42. At 9:38, we hadn't really seen the weakening that we wanted to see yet. 9:38 is really the minimum spot we're getting in. But this is looking pretty good to me. I'm definitely liking this setup so far. So if we forecast out a short here, again, we're going to the opening price. We would place a stop right below where this is now. This gives us If we were to set it here, that gives us a nice 2-to-1. That's our ideal. But let's go just above that and do like a 1.6. That's still pretty great. Okay. Now we're gonna let this go. We're not tapped in yet. Still not tapped in. All right, now we're in. All right, now this is going boom, straight down. Boom, boom, and we win. This trade, we would have been in for about 4 minutes. 4 minutes, easy. 1 to 1.6 return. Awesome. All right, so now it's Monday, June 2nd. Right at 9:30. See what happens. All right, ooh, immediate strong move up. Let's draw our line. All right, 9:38. Wow, really strong move up. Okay, this is interesting. All right, 9:38. We're just going up and up and up. 9:40. We see a big candle down. 9:41. All right, so here we're seeing some really nice movement down. And this looks really good from a risk to reward ratio. Obviously, I don't know the market. This might run back up and never come back down and hit this opening price, but this risk reward is making a lot of sense so far. All right, so we think it might go down all the way here, at least. And even if I let it go just above that, let's give it a little bit more room. This is about a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. This looks great. This is really what we want to see. We saw this initial mellowing right around 9:38 to 9:42. We're gonna set our stop order just below where it's at now. So as soon as it comes back down, we're gonna get tapped in, and let's see what happens here. I'm excited about this one. So we got tapped in here at 9:46, and we were out by 10 o'clock for a really nice 2-to-1 risk to reward. So that's great. All right, so we had a great day on Monday. Now it's Tuesday. Let's see what happens. 9:38. All right, so already I can see it's kind of waffling around the opening price. Probably not gonna get in today. No, we're not gonna get in today. See, there's just no room for us. This is going up and down around the opening price, but yeah, it's just not our day. All right, we're not trading today. Okay, now it's Wednesday. We had a great Monday. We didn't trade yesterday. Let's see what happens today. 9:38, 9:39. This might pop back down. Let's map it out. Okay, let's say we wanted to short here. We've marked this out here. Not a lot of meat on these bones, honestly. This is a 1-to-1 for it to hit back down and still be above this high here. I'm gonna say this is not a trade we get into. It's not really worth it. But just for fun, if you had gotten in, let's see what's happening. But I wouldn't trade this day. This doesn't map out to be a good enough risk to reward. I do think it's very possible here that this does continue past the opening price, goes all the way down here, which would be a way better risk to reward. But that's not our strategy. We're not doing that. So, but let's just see. Probably not tapped in because our stop order would have been just below. Now we're definitely tapped in. Waffling around. Again, I wouldn't take this trade. Risk to reward's not there. But it's kind of fun to see how these things play out. Okay, cool. So you actually would have won this one. And then let's see, does it actually hit this? Yeah, it does. So that's fun to see. Okay, so now it is 9:30 on Friday. 941, 942, starting to see a little bit. Okay. This could be something. We're seeing some real weakening. I think this is very likely to go down and hit all the way to here. But all we're looking for is the opening. So let's say we had put this here for our stop loss. Oop. We don't need quite that much. 1.2. See, this isn't really a good trade. We don't want to be in this trade. If I can't get it to at least 1.5 and be a place that makes sense, I don't want to be in it. All right, so I have our stop loss here. This is our stop here. It is right under. Let's see. All right, so we're not yet tagged in, so we're okay. Still not tagged in, still not tagged in. Okay, now we're seeing some real movement down. And we are still not tagged in here. Okay, now we're tagged in. And let's see, I think we're very likely to hit our open. But are we gonna hit our open before our stop loss is hit? Is always the question. I don't know. Really waffling here. Let's speed this up. Okay. This was a winning trade. Like I said, we entered our stop order here at 944. We are not tagged in until 955, and at 928, wow, is when we actually profit. So much longer trade than normal. This was for a 1 to 1.5. A few more notes for this strategy. This strategy happens really consistently, almost every day. But it doesn't happen every day, so don't try to make it work where it's not going to work. Sometimes the price is going to have a really strong directional move and it's going to keep going. This is where I always recommend placing a stop order. And sometimes this setup is going to happen, but it's not really going to leave us enough room to make any profit from our trade. That's okay. If you go to put in your take profit and you realize there's not enough room for your stop loss to be at around a 2x, it's not a good day for the strategy. Try again tomorrow. If the price doesn't make a strong directional move and it's just waffling around the opening price, that's okay, stay out. One of the biggest mistakes we can make is over trading. Of course, like anything else, if you like this strategy, don't just run in with real money right away. Back test it, do some paper trading, and let me know how it went. Let me know in the comments below if you tried this out and you liked it, or if the strategy just isn't for you. All right, so that's the 9:38 a.m. setup. This strategy is about finding a reliable, repeatable result. If you found this strategy helpful, let me know. If you'd like to see more content from me, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.